Hey everyone, Paul Daniels here again, and another daily fix. Today we've diverted away from the MacBook Airs and we've got ourselves a A1502 MacBook Retina. Particularly like these models. I've got one myself. In fact, I've actually got two, and they're just a really nice machine. They pretty much I'd consider close to being the pinnacle of the MacBook development before they started going downhill with their usual current Apple bollocks of making things harder, taking away useful ports, making things more expensive, using dodgy keyboards. Anyway, this one here, it gives me MagSafe, but nothing else. It won't power up or anything like that. I haven't opened it up yet, but I guess we'll crack it open, have a look. Hopefully we can fix this one. I know there's a lot of people who aren't really keen on MacBooks. You know, they like to bash on them and stuff like that. And fair enough, yeah, a lot of it's well deserved, particularly with the graphics design faults, the keyboard design faults. Yeah, there's all these different design faults. I think a lot of it tends to show up more because there's a lot less models in the Apple universe compared to, say, in the PC universe, where you've got several hundred different laptops coming out every year, and then the next year they're just last year's junk. Whereas with the MacBooks, they stick around long enough for them to be criticized pretty heavily, and like I said, for genuine design faults, they well and truly deserve it. But things like the 1466 and the 1502, they finally did get everything pretty much lined up right. And then it went to hell. Internally it looks mostly a bit of cobwebs, funnily enough. I don't normally see cobwebs in these. Must have been sitting around for a little bit. First impressions, there's no real liquid, and no, that's cobweb. Okay, so no indication of liquid, which might be a little ominous. Get this battery disconnected. It pretty much looks like it's never been opened before, if you ask me. Get the pressure starter out. What have we got here? 256. There's a little bit of a liquid mark in here, but it more looks like the normal factory wash mark. Right, put that screw back in. I'm going to have a squiz over. See if I can spot anything on the top side before I pull it out. There you can see this sort of wash look that it's got, but I'm fairly sure that's factory. There's a fingerprint on that. Can't be mine because I'm wearing gloves. Could be a dead CPU or something like that for all we know. Cockatoo's going crazy. Well, that's never even been lifted. So, a few solder balls popping out the side. So, around here, in there, down there, but it really does look more like just excessive solder paste during manufacturing. as opposed to something heating up and squeezing them out. Around the daughter board. These precarious little blighters. That's fairly inconclusive, so we're going to disconnect keyboard, trackpad, get that daughter board off as well, and we'll see if we can see if it comes up just purely on a standalone type minimalism boot. Nope, didn't even get a quarter fan spin. Yeah, let's see what our voltages. 12.6. It's SMC and everything's up and running. Alright. Doesn't seem to be the daughter board, doesn't seem to be anything obvious, so it's time now to get the board out and let us pray that we have some little bug having left its impression on the board somewhere. Quick look under here. There's a little mark there, might be corrosion on the board. Guess we'll see. Alright, let's see if we've got corrosion. And we do. Right where I thought I spotted it. Hey, look at that. Can you see that, eh? So my guess is probably there's some remnant of whatever it was right there, and it's gone now because I just flicked it. U7200, you're the 3 and 5 volt. Oh no, CPU. Or is it? I think this is just the HS computing one. No, that's it. No. No, we could have a dead machine here. Clear this up, but that's pretty extensive. If we're lucky, it might have killed it in terms of controlling overall before it decided to maybe leave the high side on permanently. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Now put my estimate of this being fixable to about 1 in 20 of all the places. Alright, well, all we can do is give it a shot. Flux and boil and then see what it looks like. I would say probably best to just replace that entire chip. I think I've left my settings on from last night's audio IC. There we go, now we're dealing with MacBook power. Well, I dare say, yeah, we're just going to have to clean sweep all that off. There's really not much point trying to rescue those. They're out of here. You guys can go too. And so can you too. That's fairly dramatic. I think we've managed to keep the pads over here, but it is still a bit of a mess. I might turn the board around. It's a little bit of an odd angle there. So the corrosion's worked its way up the tracks a bit. And we have to just keep going back until we get a proper clear copper and properly bonded conformal coat there, or mask rather. So these guys might have to go as well, but I'll fix up this section first, see what I'm dealing with a little more. A little more flux might be needed, so pushing my luck there a bit. As luck would have it, I do not have any of these 3476 boards. I got a pair of 4924s, so I'm hoping they have the same sort of layout. 924, and looks like we're in luck. They do seem to have the same layout. I think we might change the chip itself first. Give me a chance to look under there. And at least if it needs some sort of repair work, then working on it won't upset then the work I've supposedly would have done on the other bits. So the corrosion we could see before around the pins on that chip was probably sort of a secondary bleed from the original corrosion that was in this area. So we'll just clean up this area, put down a new chip, and go from there. Now, I do wonder, is this a test pad situation or is that a veer? I have a feeling it's a test pad and the veer is somewhere else. We'll play on that later. Now, because all this could be in vain, if things corroded in a bad way, I should rather say if they corroded in a bad sequence, then the CPU is dead. Possibly. Oh jeez, I'm out of tech spray. I'm out of my tech spray. I've only got this short length left. Good thing I ordered another 25-foot roll, but it's just not here yet. Fortunately for me, I do have my dependable goot wick too. I prefer tech spray for some of the finer work and goot for some of the coarser work. It's all really personal. Whatever you like yourself to use. I don't think there's any real right or wrong. I mean, sure, if you get the super cheap nasty stuff from brand unknown or fake, then yeah, the quality of the copper braid they use or the flux can definitely be rather detrimental to the outcome of your jobs. But in terms of brand name stuff, I think you have a hard time going too wrong. And then it comes down to simply whatever you feel works best with the way you work. Okay, we've got the notch for pin 1 up there. And as it is, the dot's there, so we're all good. Maybe a little bit too much solder then. Might be sitting a little skew. This package seems to have the pad layout seems to be very tight to the package. You get some others and they've got a lot more lead out on the pins. Okay, now we've got to start transferring all the parts that are going to go in here. It's going to be fun because there's no mask there anymore to constrain where these parts fly off to. They're just going to want to flow everywhere. And do this a little bit on the blind side. Sorry. I'll sort those out later. They're meant to be bound together anyway. Now that the board has got its own fair bit of heat, it doesn't take long to grab these parts and move. Might be able to grab both of these. What else am I missing? These, did they have two there? I think there is. So we've got cap resistor. Cap resistor. Right. Different colours, but same job. Wondering, did I forget to let it solder those points? Well, I hope there's no veer down there. Otherwise I'm gonna have to chase it. Ah. It just seems strange that it's such a thick trace to not go somewhere. And that's my main concern. Need more flux. This stuff just seems to not cope with the heat. And I think that portion of the leg there needs a clean up. There's corrosion there. It's better. Well, let's see if we can use the hot air and clean this up a little bit, make it a little more presentable. Shoot. Alright. That was a little crazy. Had a bit of a spasm there. Just shook that way and, well, the outcome wasn't so great. I'm definitely thinking I should replace that. Although it does seem like it wasn't as bad as I thought. I'm still glad I replaced it. I was definitely not going to win any awards for the beauty contest. Alright, so we want that resistor we just took off. Which was this one here. You look a little ominous. You can see the little bit of... we'll put some solder on the end there and see how it behaves. The cap next to it also doesn't look so crash hot. It might be something that once it goes through the ultrasonic, it will actually get cleared out of the corrosion. It seems like it survived that test. Alright. So we've reworked this area. Now we go looking for maybe some other areas that we didn't see because our attention was focused on that first great big lump of kryptonite. And here are a pair of bits that should have been, what is that? Some component that's flown off. That's interesting. Stray solder just drifted in there. Didn't want that. That could have caused trouble. I think it's time to test with the fan. So here we go. See if we get ourselves a fan spin. Green light. Fan spin. We got a win. Lucky us. Oh, we're really lucky there. But let's not celebrate just yet. While we have a fan spin, we want to know if we've got any activity. So we're going to use the USB stick. Shuffle this happily spinning fan across. Insert our USB stick the wrong way. And the good news is, I don't know if you can see that, so that's flashing away quite happily, so we definitely have good activity there. So we got lucky, yet again. Found a bit of corrosion in one spot, in spite of the fact that the rest of the machine was immaculately clean. So it goes to show you can't judge everything just by what you first see on the top. But the fact that we got MagSafe and no other activity and everything seemed to be okay did tend to make me think, well, we've either got a bit of one spot corrosion on the backside or we've got something really dead going on. In this case, we had corrosion on the backside and we were lucky that the corrosion took out the controller before it managed to cause permanent damage to the processor. That was a nice win to have. Really been needing these wins lately. Things are piling up over here. I've got a lot of work to get done around the yard. Fences to put up, yards to build, enclosures to make, house renovations to do. So getting more of these wins, a higher success rate on the repairs is definitely a good thing for me. It's nice to be having these high success rate lately because a couple of months ago, or up to about 6 weeks ago or so, 6 weeks to around about recently, I've been having something like a 10% success rate. Just things would be coming in that I could almost fix, but then there was always a showstopper at the end. Something that was a compound fault and it just ended the job. So you put a lot of time into these things, but you don't get any payback for it, and nobody wins. So having some good wins here with the MacBooks and everything else, it's really making the weeks a lot better. Anyway, you all take care. Until next time, I'll see you later.